Respectfully. Yo, what's going on? This is the Respectfully podcast with Aurie Styla, and this episode is not sponsored by anybody, but because I'm wearing a Cracked Nitro Deck cap, I'm going to give them a big shout out. Shout out to Cracked. Check them out. They are great with gaming accessories, particularly for the Nintendo Switch. Well, for all gaming platforms as well. You can get yourself Bluetooth controllers. You can get yourself a Switch dock, which is called a Nitro Deck, like this one right here. This is a Nitro Deck Plus. This one is amazing. It also acts not just as a dock for your Switch to be able to play portably, but a dock you can plug into your television. So anywhere that you're on the go, you can get one of these and make sure you play it anywhere. You can play it handheld, or you can play it by plugging it into your television. And we'll put this right there. I've got a few. I love these. I might give this one away. I'm still thinking about it. I don't know yet at some point. But I'm greedy. They're so good. This one hasn't come out the box yet. My other one is somewhere around the house, somewhere around the studio. I don't know. Anyway, how's everyone been? What's been going on? Respectfully podcast. We had a bit of an issue trying to get episode 34 to get up. Now, I will be completely honest. I've swapped over from one podcast server for my RSS feed to another. And the issue that I had was trying to get the episodes to show. I posted the episode on Wednesday. It's now Monday that I'm recording this, and it was Monday that it came out after speaking to my current provider, something that I did that was wrong. So for those who listened to the latest episode today when I'm recording, or 2 days ago from when I actually dropped this episode, I apologize. The information on there is pretty late and delayed, but you know, system errors are system errors. But we got past it, and we did good to get it sorted. How's my week been? Well, let me recap on the week. Since last week, when this came out on Wednesday, or should have come out on Wednesday, what have I been up to? So on Wednesday just gone, I did two great things, actually. I did a project for prostate cancer research. Big shout out to them, where it was a barbershop conversation with me and a few other people. Shout out to who else was there? There was Curtis Walker. There was Clinton as well that was there. There was a whole bunch of us that were there talking, having jokes, having a laugh. It was a great day. Also, after that, I went straight to the One Caribbean Relief Fundraiser in Box Park in Croydon. So interestingly enough, I went from one, noble kind of we need to raise awareness thing to another. And the evening was amazing. Shout out to Clara Hermit, to White Yardie for putting that on as well. And to the entire team around them. I'm sure it wasn't just them two, because it was a huge event. There were so many artists that were there. Comedians were me, Shabs Kareem, Axel Blake. There was music artists such as Nadia Rose, Anakai Harley, JME, Big Frisco. Them two killed it. Rams was there. I don't want to miss out anyone's name. I apologize if I do. I'm gonna have to look at the list. I really should read it off a list. Shout out to the DJs that were there as well. Ras Kwame, Shawnee B. Who else was there? There was DJ Milk Tray. There was a bunch of great people there that were just there for the great cause of raising awareness for the victims of Storm Beryl, which happened over the past few weeks. Oh, how long has it been now? End of June, roughly, over into the beginning of July. So, it was to raise money. And by the beginning of the event, they had sold out the tickets to all tickets that were available for the event. By the beginning of the event, they had already raised £26,000 to go send over to the Caribbean, which is going to be distributed to the communities that need the assistance after being devastated by Beryl, particularly in the Grenadines, Carriacou, Grenada, St. Vincent. There were many parts of the islands that were affected. Some were not completely covered, where Jamaica had many parts that were affected, but the entire island wasn't damaged across the board. But somewhere like Carriacou, which is a very small island itself, the entirety of the island devastated. So the money is going to be distributed accordingly. I'm sure there was more money after the raffle tickets went out there that was made, and it was such a great event. And it was really weird that in the middle of the event, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but news of release of a very prominent artist from Jamaica, a dancehall artist, was released on the same day of the event, which I believe was the 31st of July. And it was such, it was huge. You can imagine everyone's dancing and bubbling to the DJ, and then Yardie came on stage and just made the announcement that you know, certain artists was freed. But we'll talk about that a little bit later on. What else have I been up to? I went to do a show in Bournemouth. Shout out to Vic and Heskey for putting on the show. Listen, the drive to Bournemouth is long, but it was well worth it. The issue that I had, normally I record all the shows that I do any like crowd work on that I know I'm going to sit down and really just work on, not just material, but work on just my ability to dig out the crowd for info. It was one of the best shows that I could have got that content for, but guess what? On my desk right here is a memory card. This memory card needed to be in the camera because I was offloading video footage off the 2 memory cards that I had sitting here. The 2 memory cards that go into my camera did not go in. So what happened? I went down there and didn't have the ability to record. And it was been upsetting me for the past few days because there was so much great content in there. So yeah, you win some, you lose some. Shout out to the team, though, that put on the event at Pop World in Bournemouth. Shout out to Heskey. I have been giving him the most grief online. I'm very straight to the line, especially with other comedians. If you ask me for advice, I'll give you advice. If you ask me for like opinions, I'll give you honest opinions. And Heskey's been asking me for a few, and I've been giving him some honest opinions. He likes it though. For some reason, there are some people that like to ask your view and opinion of certain things, like, yo, what do you think of this joke? Or what do you think of that? And then when I say, it could do with some work, you go, nah, but I know my thing in it. He's one of those people. So he's been getting it from me this week every time he asks me for like info and ideas. But shout out to him nonetheless. Big up. You had a great show down there. But yeah, that's the recap. That's what's been going on for the week, to me personally. But yo, I already mentioned it earlier on before I get into the next bit. Shout out to, I guess, the team that were able to help Vibes get free. Vibes Cartel has been released from prison, which after, I think it was 2011 he went in, so 13 years. Or am I right in saying it's 2013 and 11 years? It's one of the two. I'll fact check that in a bit. He's been inside and they didn't want to try him again. So him and I believe some of the people that he went inside with at the time in the same case have all now been released. Video footage has been crazy of people like sharing him and him coming out, and also their own funny takes on him coming out of prison. So shouts to him and to his team. It's a really unique situation because I think a lot of us had already submit to the idea that he won't come out of prison. And I think the majority of us have a selfish need for him to come out so he can provide us with the music that we want, as opposed to him and having his freedom. That's majority of us. Like, it's so unique a perspective. No, sorry, it's so ununique a perspective. It's so broad a perspective where people love your music and what you create and your content that they're willing to disregard anything that might be the case. That they're like, we just come out, we want the music. I don't know the ins and outs of the case. No one knows the real things that have been going on. All I know is that he's free and we're looking forward to some great music. So big up to that entire team. But I know there are so many people that have been putting up posts saying my summit is now lit. Reggae Land happened in Milton Keynes, and I know they played so much Cartel music. I've seen DJs do sets and video clips of them doing like mixes online of like Cartel's best hits. I've listened to loads of his hits since he's come out. I listened to some before he even came out. What am I saying? I listened to him quite regular, to be fair. But I delved into which songs I know I want to hear when there's a concert that comes on. Shout out to everyone that's gone over to Dreamland in Jamaica. Big event that happened with loads of music, loads of live performances. Dreamland? Am I mixing it with regular? No, it's Dreamland. I'm sure it's Dreamland. It's Dreamland, yes. So loads of people have gone out over to Dreamland in Jamaica just before the release of him. So if you can imagine, just after the release of him. So if you can imagine, he's been released, then not Dreamland, sorry, Dream Weekend. My apologies. I went to go check it. Dream Weekend in the Grill, August the 2nd to August the 6th. Today's the 5th that I'm recording this. This will drop on the 7th. So it'll still be going on. I know they're going crazy for music and sets that have him on there. As you can imagine, the vibe out there is crazy for people that love his music. So knowing that you got released, that weekend is a priceless weekend for a lot of people. It's like when Buju Banton got released after years of being in prison. The first concert that he did, which was in the football stadium, sold out in a matter of minutes and people were gassed. I know 2 people that went over there to go and see it themselves rather. So yeah, big up to them. But yeah, that's a few recaps and also, just a quick light bit on Cartel since I spoke about him earlier on in regards to the announcement being made during the fundraiser that I was at. It's been a really techie and rough week for anyone who is British, anyone who has family that live in the UK. I live in the UK, so for me, just seeing the news, I wouldn't say surreal. It's almost, I can't even say it's a surprise. What I'm seeing is a load of built up tension now exploding, and it's not looking good at all. It's not looking nice. So, how do we say this? A devastating event happened on the 29th of July in Southport. There were victims of a stabbing. A young man went to a party, which was a Taylor Swift themed party, and for some reason, unbeknownst to any of us, went and attacked many of the people in the party, and now there are victims. Some who are recovering, but sadly, some who lost their lives as well. 3 young girls, all of them under the age of 10, Alice, Elsie, and BB, all lost their lives. And I think their dance teacher, Leanne Lucas, who I'm hearing and seeing in the news now is in better condition than the initial day, but still has a way to go, was in critical condition from protecting those kids. So first things first, RIP to those young, beautiful girls who were just having a party. That's a devastating thing to think about happening. It's horrible to see that something as innocent as a Taylor Swift party can turn into such a tragedy. And as you can imagine, the local community and wider was just knocked by this. Now, there wasn't much information that came out at the time, apart from there was a stabbing that had happened where someone had gone into the hall where the kids were having this party and started wielding a knife and then attacked many of the people in there. No one knows why. No one knew what was going on. But again, horrible thing to hear. And I can't even say whatever the reason. There is no reason for something like that to happen. It's disgusting. But the perpetrator, we need to see justice, because that is disgusting. It's horrible for that to happen. Perpetrator is arrested. No information has been released about this. I'm going through the timeline now. So the perp was arrested and no information had been released about this as to who it was and what was going on. Now, this was on the 29th of July. By the evening of the 29th of July, and then the next day, there was information already on the internet. Problem is, this information that was out, that was released, was all fake information. The first thing that we saw was people saying that the person who had gone in and attacked the victims was an asylum seeker. And then they had said there's someone who got into the UK in 2023. Then they tried to depict this person as an asylum seeker from with an Islamic background. Then there was a name that came out, which was, I believe it was Ali al-Shakati. But this name was fake. Now, the problem is, fake news is something that we're going to have to deal with over the next few years. I saw a podcast, Andrew Schultz, talk about this on his podcast, saying that maybe in 10 or 20 years, the people that our children, 10 years old and up, that get to see that time are going to be so used to fake news being perpetrated that they're never going to believe anything until it's been completely and utterly fact-checked by channels that they trust. But right now, we're in the early stages of fake news coming out and just be spinning and going and losing control of it being contained within an environment where they can go, this is news, is fake, and it's deaded off. The problem is that when this came out, you have a lot of the local people in Southport, and also a lot of people that were from outside of Southport, were already fueled. This is a very sensitive time. This is a very delicate and emotionally driven time to be having to trigger people in ways even further than what's already happened. Having to see the loss of life is already quite tense, and it's devastating for the families, for anybody who knows the families, and for anyone who just sees themselves and their own children in these kids that they're having to say rest in peace to. So when fake news came out, and people were responding emotionally, all of a sudden now it's emboldened those who already had an agenda in their mind to go, we need to find retribution. And now all of a sudden people in Southport started to riot. But here's the major issue. Protests, I think, are good. Riots are never a good thing. they started to riot and they started to direct their anger towards a community that they felt reflected who they thought was already the perpetrator based on the fake news. So in Southport, riots were kicking off as early as the evening of the 29th of July and over the next couple of days. This escalated, not just riots in terms of people arguing and squaring up with the police, but setting fire to cars, attacking police, attacking people that lived in the local community, attacking shops, breaking through windows. And then it escalated into attacking religious buildings like mosques in the local area. None of this is justified, but this is what happens when fake news is pushed out there. And this is also what happens when emotions are so high at times like this. And also you've not checked the temperature of the people within your own country. It's very easy to go, this is a tragedy, this is sad, and we're all upset and emotional. But beyond emotion, there are people that are looking to seek revenge. Revenge is never a thing that we're supposed to seek out. I'm raised as a Christian, so biblically, I know that you're supposed to turn the other cheek. However, I also understand that carnal and human emotion to want to seek revenge on something so visceral, these images of kids who, even though we weren't seeing the images of them, their lives being taken, just seeing how young they were and seeing that these kids' lives are cut short, I can understand that human reaction of lashing out. Here's the problem. You shouldn't lash out, especially when details haven't been released. So if you're going to lash out, you're now also not lashing out just at people. You're lashing out at innocent people. No lashing out is ever justified, is supposed to happen. But lashing out at innocent people because of your prejudice and also because of the information you've been given that makes you believe that you're right to do so is never going to be right. Well, guess what? The kid, and I say kid because he was 17 years old, who had attacked these girls, who went and pulled a knife and stabbed them, was arrested. Because he's under the age of 18, his identity had to be protected because that is the law. But the judge had seen the reaction to the stabbing and all the rioting that was going on and had to make a decision to hopefully temper the storm of all the xenophobic kind of attitudes towards the communities who are in Southport and in other northern regions before it spread as well. Obviously went further than that, but had to release the name of the kid and also an image on his nationality. Turns out that Ali al-Shakati was a fake name, and the kid, I want to say, the perpetrator, the attacker, the boy who went and stabbed these girls, his name was Axel Ruda Cabana, who was actually born in Wales, so he's a UK national, born in the UK, not from an Islamic background, but his family's from a Christian background, and is a first-generation Brit, where his family are originally from Rwanda. I think the judge thought this was going to temper the storm by releasing this information and letting people know that you think it is this fake person, but actually it's not. Didn't do a thing. The problem is the emotions are already high, and there is a sect of the UK that no matter who it is, as long as it's a person of color, you are already our enemy. You wouldn't have had to have done anything. You are already our enemy. Now, this kid deserves the time that he's about to get, and there needs to be an investigation as to what he thinks his motives were. I don't even want to speculate. That's not my space or my place to do so, but lives were lost, and justice has to be seen. What I don't agree with is street justice, especially from a section of the country that will find any reason to attack other innocent people due to their own frustrations. So this is the problem now. We are now in the middle of almost a 1 week long riot that's been spreading, or a riot disease that's been spreading around the United Kingdom. Parts of the UK that have been affected by these riots are Hull, London, Liverpool, Bristol, Sunderland. There's loads of places. I have a whole list that I had here a second ago that I could pull up. I'll find it in a second. But there are many, many places around the UK that are now having to see local communities being attacked, shops being broken into, destroyed because of the xenophobic reaction to the incident that had happened. A load of racial attacks have happened as well. There have been many, many, many videos and documentations of people just seeing people of color, brown or black, just seeing them and attacking them in the street and with the rhetoric of get out of our country, go back to your own, using racial slurs. I'm not going to say what they are because, one, I'm not trying to get demonetized by using negative words other people are using. Two, I just don't think there's a necessity for me to teach what some people may not know. Just know that there's been a lot of racial slurs that's happened over the past few days because of this. So now what's happened is then you have representatives of these communities, some of them not even in this country, that are not attacking, that are emboldening this community of far right kind of sections of the country. EDL, English Defence League, has always had its kind of rumblings, even though it disbanded, it had its rumblings where people still were trying to support the idea that this is the thing that we need to follow, even if it isn't under a brand of EDL. So xenophobic ideologies of saying like Britain for British only, or Britain should be white only. So you've had many people attacking others in the communities, even if they are themselves nationality-wise British. And the figures that have been speaking up again have been those like Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson is always going to find an opportunity to make himself relevant by jumping on social media and either dropping videos or dropping messages on Twitter talking about, his views, his perspectives, England for the English, and this should not be the thing, and your country's being taken over. Like very harmful words that are only going to further embolden those far-right people that are attacking many, many others just based on rage, anger, and xenophobic views and perspectives. Andrew Tate, interestingly enough as well, who again is a very controversial figure, has had some of his rhetoric kind of regurgitated again to fuel and embolden those who are also attacking other locals within their communities and other innocent people within their communities. Now I keep saying innocent because regardless of what you think, this has nothing to do with immigration in this country. The focus should be on the victims of the stabbing. They are the victims, and the person who is the perp, who is guilty of that, has been arrested. Attacking other people just because in your eyes they shouldn't be in your country is attacking innocent people. Many of them are shop owners, tax-paying citizens that you're attacking because, I say you, the listener I'm not talking to, but those who are attacking. They are attacking because of views that they have, which are downright prejudicial, racist, and again, I keep using the word xenophobic. The idea of like trying to keep people from outside away from your own mindset of what a community is. But you're attacking innocent people. It's horrible, man. It's a nasty state to be in. That's where we're kind of at right now. And it feels like it's being reflected everywhere. Like every time I look at the news, all I keep seeing is, I don't want to drag America into this, but all I keep seeing is the boldness of when we saw what was going on in America during January 6th happening now in many parts of the Western world. The views and ideologies were always there, but they were very surreptitious. You'd never see them come out so loudly. They were never addressed and projected so loudly in people's faces. But now what we're seeing is everybody being emboldened enough to feel that they have the right to not only have their views, but to attack others and put others in danger because of their views. And that is a horrible place to be in, where not only is your views emboldened, but then you feel justified to take away the safety of other people. Those young girls, it's horrible to hear things like that happen. No matter what race, culture, no matter where in the world you're from, that's horrible to see that happen. But you shouldn't use that rage to then attack other innocent people around the country because you now have a reason to say my views are valid because I don't think people who live in this country, who contribute to your country and your community should be here. Like, that is a disgusting thing to think. I saw a video of a woman called Debbie Stokes, who I believe is in Liverpool. And one thing that I said, I thought was amazing. Debbie Stokes, I'd say maybe in her 50s, maybe early 60s, white Liverpudlian local, said that she was disgusted by how people in her community were making her, like other people within the community, feel unsafe just because of the color of their skin or the beliefs of their religion. These people had done absolutely nothing, but because tensions are running high, those who wanted to lash out decided to lash out on other people who equally agree that the killing of these young girls was wrong. It's really disgusting to see this happen. And Debbie, one thing that she said that was amazing, and it's horrible to think that this can happen. She said, one thing that this has shown me is how many of my friends, they themselves are racists. that she didn't necessarily know, because they might be friends who are neighbors, locals, people that live on your road that you call your friends because you see them every day and you check for their children, you check for their families, but not knowing that they had these views. She now had to witness many of them come out of their house and start throwing bricks through shops, throwing like chairs through windows and so on and so forth. And it's a sad state to see the nature of this country come to this point, because we are a melting pot of a multitude of cultures. Yes, there is an origin of this country that dates back to King Arthur, you can say. And around those times, yeah, you wouldn't see as many of us here apart from the Moors. Look up in your history if you don't know who I'm talking about. However, you have to understand, my ancestors, not even ancestors, I want to go that far back. My grandmother was invited to come over here whilst already having children, like my mum, my uncles and so on. She was invited to come over here after the Second World War to help rebuild this country during the Windrush generation. My dad came over here and he's worked all his life and is given to his community. He's paid taxes. My stepmother is also somebody that's lived between two countries and come over here, and she has worked her backside off. My stepfather, I've got siblings who look like me. I have uncles, aunts who they themselves have come over here, and they are equally disgusted and devastated to see what has happened to these young girls. But just because they don't look like the person that wants to lash out, that person could see them and go, you are not who I think is British, and then want to attack them. And I think that's disgusting. Me, who was born here, I've seen not kids, let me not say that. I've seen young men, my age, maybe a bit younger, in Bristol. I saw a video of a man who was in the park and he was just attacked. And people saying, get him, kill him, get him out of the country. That is disgusting. The safety of many people right now is in disarray. And it's wrong that that is the case. I started this whole bit here talking about how wrong the murder of Alice, Elsie, BB, the attack that saw Leanne Lucas in critical condition. I started this by saying that is it's a horrible thing to see. It's horrific. And Axel Ruda Cubana should see that justice should be served for them, and he should see time. I also think that an explanation should be given to the families as to why, because they're always asking themselves, why my child? Those are the things that we should be focusing on. And as a community, that should be where the focus is. But sadly, so many of these rioters have co-opted this tragedy to embolden their need to lash out at someone. And I think it's disgusting. And many of us think it's disgusting, because now it's not about those girls. You're making it about your pride. I've seen videos of people rioting and smashing up Greggs. Greggs is a very British brand. It's a British baker. Why are you going to smash up something that represents the best of Britain? Well, I mean, Greggs isn't my taste as a whole, but the best of Britain, to then say this is what foreigners deserve. One, that doesn't make sense. And two, like, you are killing somebody else's business or attacking people's like livelihoods who might be your own people. It's senseless rioting. When we saw the London riots happen in when did they happen? Was it 2013? I think when the London riots happened in 2013, equally as condemnable when people were burning down buildings. Debbie Stokes said that the Nazis burnt books, and she had to wake up to see a library in her local community burnt down. That's no different from how the Nazis acted. And if that's the case, it's disgusting to know that they're doing this in the name of the girls that were killed, whereas none of the people that are victims of this crime, be it the girls, be it the people that witnessed the stabbings, and people that are related to the girls, their families, none of them are sitting here going, the way to deal with this is by destroying Britain and attacking everybody else. All of them, some of them have spoken out saying this is not what our girls had died for. So it's disgusting to see how these people have co-opted this, this tragedy and tried to make it about themselves. Yo, far righters, you lot need a slap. Every single one of you. Police be on your door soon, man. Police be on your door soon, man. The same way that police need to be on Axel Ruda Cabana's door and take him into jail for what he did. The same way that when the London riots were going on, there were people of all colours, black, white, Asian, whatever background, that were looting shops. Police need to be on their door. I don't care if you got some new trainers. You took an incident and tried to co-opt it into justification for your extracurricular crimes. Well, police be on the door for everybody that's rioting and looting. I don't business. And if anybody wants to say anything to me, say something to me. I don't care, man. This is disgusting. This is not what British values are. And if you want to look at me and say, well, why would I know what British values are? I was born and raised in this country. I pay taxes. I have neighbors of all different backgrounds and ethnicities and so much culture. And I understand how much of their culture and my culture have needed to mix to be able to make this great melting pot of a country called Britain, that we could all go and normally enjoy shows together. We can go to comedy shows and watch and laugh at different things together. We can enjoy music, food. We can enjoy so much different arts together without having to see division. But it's been insidious. It's been something that has been in the core of like the underlying vibe of this country that hasn't been addressed, that needs to be addressed. And this may be the beginning of breaking down like the walls of the, how do I say this? The illusion of everything's okay here and addressing it in a way that needs to be addressed. I don't know what the solution is. All I know is this has nothing to do with you far righters. This has nothing to do with anybody that wants to cop the message. This is all about those young girls that were killed, and may they rest in peace. And hopefully at some point, I don't see how, the families of the victims find peace. Again, I don't know how, but I only can pray upon like that, or pray for that for them, because they're the ones who really and truly should be getting the attention, the time, the love, the outpouring and the care, not these far right thugs that have no teeth that say, I can't get a job. These foreigners are taking our jobs, where you're not even qualified to work because you've done jail time. I want to play one clip, actually. Let me find this clip that I'm going to play. Let me connect it to my phone. I remember there was an interview of some guy, I don't know his name, but he was, sorry, let me just connect my phone to this. There was a guy who, I've seen this clip before, but this is the nature of some of the ignorant people. Not everybody, but the ignorant people that decide to take it upon themselves and go, you know what? I want to be interviewed for my perspective and opinion as to why foreigners are, or immigration is bad. I'm going to play this clip right now. Have a listen to this. This is an interview of some guy. I'll tell you his name straight after the clip, but it was done on a news network, and this was genuinely his perspective on why immigration was bad. Have a listen to this.
Immigration to you?
Well, I can't get a job. They come to this country and they just get a job just like that.
So when you apply, what do they say to you?
Well, I've got a criminal record. Assault.
Assault?
Yeah.
How long ago?
Well, I've been out of prison now 3 years now.
All right, so let me stop that right there. This man said immigrants are coming into this country and immigration is wrong because he now can't get a job, and because they come over here and they've taken the jobs. That's what he said. And then the woman asked, well, what is it they say when you go to the job interview? He goes, well, I can't because I've got a criminal record. Dunce, brother. Listen, you're the reason you can't get a job. Stop blaming other people. And then he said he got done for assault and he just come out of jail 3 years ago. This gentleman's name is Jason Oldacre, 45 years old when he got put in prison. He got done. It worked for assault. I'm not even going to tell you what the crime is, right? All I'm going to say, it's an M word that involved a young 7-year-old girl, and this happened in Swindon. Jason Oldacre, you are dunce. First things first, you're disgusting. You went to jail for making a victim out of somebody who was that young, one. And two, not only that, you then went on a news network and said, well, I got done for assault and this is why I can't get a job, because people are taking your jobs, where you've got a record which is foul that nobody wants to hire you for. It's people like that that are speaking and trying to co-opt what has happened in Southport, what happened on the 29th of July, and make it all about them. And those people are sick in the head. You don't need a slap. You don't need jail time. That's what you really need, and I hope you find it. Rest in peace to those young girls again, Alice, Elsie, and BB. Yo, I pray that the world does better for other girls your age, older and younger, because hearing that what happened to you was nasty and disgusting. And I also pray that like the people don't continue to use your name to victimize other people, because that's wrong and it's horrible. Leanne Lucas is an absolute hero for attempting to save these girls' lives, put herself in the firing line to protect girls, and she also got injured and she was in critical care. We pray for a swift recovery to the people of Southport, to all the communities that are affected, especially in Southport and the surrounding areas like Liverpool and the northern areas that are seeing, like Blackpool, that are seeing an uprise in people using these deaths as a reason to lash out. We only pray for healing, because right now that's what's needed. It's a horrible situation that we're seeing happen up there, and we just pray that peace is found at some point soon. And also the people that are lashing out and then victimizing others in your name, we pray that you see jail, or I'm not going to say worse, because I'm not going to wish anything negative on you guys. Oh, all right. Sorry, man. Deep. I know it's a lot, but that's what's been going on during these times. And if I don't speak on it and other people don't speak on it, what are we supposed to talk about, man? Yeah. Jesus, please come and take the wheel, because what's going on with these people is disgusting. Anyway, let me try and lighten up a little bit from that. That was a long kind of rant from my side. Not even a rant. That was just kind of an upgrading of what's been going on. Let's try and move forward from that. What else has been going on? Hey, Simone Biles, Sha'Carri Richardson, Julian Alfred, Lyles as well. Noah Lyles. There's been loads of people that have been screaming your name recently just because of your greatness when it comes to the Olympics. Now, I'll be honest, not been really watching and deep in the Olympics as much as I could have done, but I have my reasons. I've been busy. And also, I only like to catch the highlights of things that I really enjoy watching. And I'll be honest with you, do you know who I've been enjoying catching up on more? It's not been the men's 100. It's not been any of the men's sports. It's been the women. Women, you've been killing it at these Olympics. Women have really, for the past couple of years, been showing up and showing their abilities when it comes to sports. The WNBA has been killing it when it comes to ratings and when it comes to storylines as well, of people that are the underdogs rising and climbing. The Olympics, Simone Biles is an absolute machine, but also Rebecca Adarande. I need to be able to pronounce her name correctly. It's Andrade. That's it. Rebecca Andrade and Simone Biles, I've been watching how they've been performing, and they are phenomenal. Sha'Carri Richardson, Shelly-Ann Price-Fraser, also the story of their build-up and it not actually happening. And then also the phenomenal Julian Alfred, who killed it in the 100s. Let me just recap on the individual bits and pieces. I keep getting messages right now. A message real quick. Let me just leave a quick voice note. Hold on. Yo, Scott, what's going on? I'm currently recording on the podcast. This voice note's been recorded on the podcast as well. I will get back to you as soon as I can. It will be not too long until I respond, but I do need to ask you a couple things. Thank you. Big up, bro. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm not here to hide the fact that I've got a life outside of recording this for you. So let's start with the big ones firstly. Simone Biles, currently graded as the greatest gymnast of all time based on the fact that she has however many Olympic medals that you can try and count. Let me have a look and see. Even in this one so far, she got 3 gold, 1 silver of the 2024 Olympics. But how many medals does she have overall? Simone Biles has 11 Olympic medals and 30 World Championship medals. She's the most decorated gymnast in history and considered as the greatest gymnast of all time. Cannot take that away from her. Would never want to. She is phenomenal. Watching her is crazy. Like, I love when anybody can take ownership of their own body in the sense that they can train themselves, get themselves to a peak physical fitness, and then also master their body in whatever craft that they can do. I find that super endearing. It's one of the most attractive things that you can be, is in control and in charge of your own being. And watching her and watching Rebecca and Andrade, I keep saying Adarande for some reason. I keep saying Adarande, like Adirondacks, which is a region in New York State. Rebecca Andrade, both of them. I've enjoyed both of them. I'll be honest with you, Simone is fantastic, but I almost expect her now to be fantastic. It's almost like watching Bolt in his prime and going, I just kind of need to see who can catch Bolt. It's not about Bolt anymore. He's so good. Who can catch him? However, Rebecca Andrade, she has been a close silver medalist second. She's phenomenal. Watching her is beautiful. She's both her and Simone are stunning. Both of them are like on each other's like heels to the point where you can sometimes go, that might not be Simone's medal, that might be Rebecca's medal. And true to form, I watched one today. They did floor work today, and she picked up a gold where I believe it was a gold for the artistic gymnastics so women's floor artistic gymnastics. She picked up a gold. Simone got a silver because she got 2 faults, 2 penalty points. Not 2, but 0.06 in penalties for, I believe, coming off onto the blue outside of the mat. But yo, both of them have been crazy. What Rebecca did, she does this double front summy, and then when she lands split leg open, it goes into a cartwheel and into like a baran. Oh, mate, I'm describing like I know what the names of the moves are. But all I'm saying is, because she's taller as well, have you noticed that when someone's a little taller, when they're taller and they're kind of trim or in gymnastic physique, they are able to move in a way where their body is kind of like a lot more evident and exaggerated in their movements. Like a dancer. People that dance, when they're stocky, you can't really see the movements as much because it seems stiff. But when somebody is a lot more like taller and a lot more stretched out, legs, arms, and so on, their movements are a lot more exaggerated. Watching this girl move is crazy. It's insane. Watching Simone move is also crazy, but I'm used to seeing it now. But watching Rebecca go as well, I'm like, yo, you are closely behind Simone. It's like when people need to give her props, but she's now come out of the Olympics with 1 gold, 2 silvers, and 1 bronze, whereas Simone Biles has come out with, like I said a second ago, 4 medals, 3 golds and 1 silver. Watching them two has been amazing. So shout out to both of them. Now, 100 meters. Let's go with the women's first, because that was the one I enjoyed more so. Sha'Carri Richardson was the one who was pitted to be the number 1 contender against Shelly-Ann Price-Fraser. There was a bit of controversy from what I remember hearing. So if I check it, Shelly-Ann Price-Fraser and Sha'Carri and a few other athletes were staying outside of the Olympic Village. So when they take their transport to go into it, there's a way in Paris that they're supposed to go in. They get to the gate, and the gate said, we can't let you in. This is Shelly-Ann Price-Fraser. This is Sha'Carri Richardson. You know who they are, and they need to go and warm up. They told them, no, you got to go out and round to another gate to come in or something and so on, because the rules have changed. Now, apparently what we found out was that the gate that they were supposed to be let in was one that they've been let in all throughout their time of training. But when it came to coming today, or not today, but the day that they need to go and do the final, they were not allowed through that gate. And there is a video where you can hear Shelly-Ann kind of kicking off, not crazily, but saying, yo, we're supposed to be able to come in here. We've been coming in here for a while. In that same video, you can see Sha'Carri sitting outside on the curb, waiting for whatever to be rectified to be rectified. Anyhow, this apparently affected their ability to go and warm up, to go and train, and then to get ready for their finale race. Sha'Carri pulls out. Not Sha'Carri, sorry. Shelly-Ann pulls out. Do we know if this is directly correlated? It could be, it could not be, not confirmed, but people have been speculating because when they saw Sha'Carri's performance, she seemed a little bit slower to get out the gate when it came to the 100-meter sprint. One thing she is she's super explosive. Coming out of the gates is not hard for her. And also when you see her running in the Olympics at any point, one thing she can do is she can eat ground very, 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 very well. The sheer power in her stride is crazy. Anyway, we get to the finals of the 100 meters. Another contender, which was definitely pitted to be in the top 3, St. Lucian's Julian Alfred. She comes out beastly out of the gate, eats up the track. Close between her and Sha'Carri, but Julian Alfred gets first place. She gets the gold in the finals. Sha'Carri Richardson gets second. Who cares about first, second, and third and so on? They all deserve their medal because they were so close and they were fantastic. Let me not say who cares. People obviously care about first. People obviously care about second. But let me tell you something. It was so good. Well done to any of them who've competed and come back with a medal. Julian Alfred has won her first medal, not just like for herself, but for her country. St. Lucia has never come home with an Olympic medal until this time. So now Julian Alfred gets that. Do you know what's been funny? Jamaica, being Jamaica. Family's from Jamaica, so I'll talk to how they've been. My dad, my family, my friends. First thing they done is, well, you know what, Seb? We win still, you know, we beat up. We beat up. Yo, hear me I say right now. Julian Alfred, we know say you're Caribbean, we beat USA, you know. That's how we are. Our attitude is, big up USA, but you were always the ones that we wanted to topple out. From Jamaica never got first place, we'll claim anything that's close to Jamaica. And because Julian Alfred, apparently she went to school in Jamaica for her teenage years, we're like, yo, I saw she come from Jamaica. We are going to claim that right now. That's how we are. We're mad disrespectful. St. Lucia's first medal, we're there trying to co-opt it and say, yo, big up Jamaica for training a St. Lucia for running up. Big up. We're like that. We're disrespectful. Anyway, shout out to them that they won. It was such a great race to see. The power in Alfred's run. The Shikari's ability to eat ground and catch up was coming out a little slow out the blocks. Fantastic. Let me take a sip of my smoothie right now. But yeah, man, it's been a great race to watch. Now, this is another one that was a close one. The big race when it came to the 100 meters men's final. This was the one where everybody was like thinking Jamaica's going to get it. Jamaica's going to get it. Jamaica's going to get it. Because the man for Jamaica was Kishane Thompson, right? Kishane has been pitted to be like one of the fastest men in the world as of current. He has not beaten Bolt's score. So when it comes to records, he's not the fastest man to have ever run the 100 meters, but he's one of the fastest to have ever run, to run the 100 meters during this Olympics, right? Now, Kishane Thompson has been pitted against, it was Noah Lyles and what's Curly's first name again? Fred Curly, another American. All of them very fast, all of them very powerful when it comes to the sprint. Anyway, this race was tight. Very, very tight. A matter of split seconds divided this race. So, I keep getting messages on my phone. Let me just ignore that for a second. Boom. All right. It gets down to the race. This is where it gets political for a lot of people. 100 meters men final. We get down to the nitty gritty of a what they literally call a photo finish. We get down to a photo finish. They both have the same time. Noah Lyles and Kishane Thompson. Lyles of USA, Thompson of Jamaica. Have the same time. 9.79. It was a matter of 0.005 seconds that there was a differential. Now, we're trying to figure out who won this. What's the differential? Who actually got over the line first? Well, this is where a lot of people don't know their athletics or don't know their 100-meter sprints or don't know basically the rules of what has to go over the line. Any athlete knows or any sprinter knows the rules, but us as like people that watch may not know this. What has to go over the line first is your head or your torso. What has to go over the line first is your head or your torso, which is why when you watch any Olympic race, when it comes to a close finish, you tend to see people duck forward because if their head goes over the line, then that counts as you are now over the line. That duck forward is important. So in this race, Kishane Thompson's foot goes over the line, but Noah Lyles' head and torso goes over the line before Kishane Thompson's foot goes. I'm sorry, before what's wrong with me? Before Kishane Thomas's head and torso go over the line, but Kishane's foot goes over the line first before Noah's head goes over the line. Here's the problem: the foot means nothing. It has to be your torso. So there's a bit of uproar on social media of who should have won. Fact of the matter is, the rules have never changed. It's your head or your torso. I would have much rather Jamaica win. That's my family down from Jamaica. Of course I'm going to root for my people then. But unfortunately, the rules are the rules. But they both got the same time, 9.79, which is still phenomenal. And such a close finish. Both of them should be super, super, super proud. And I'm sure they both are. A gold and a silver. But the rules are the rules. It is not your foot that goes over the line first. It's your head and your torso. So, like I want to riot and kick off. Let me change that word, because after what I just said about the rioting earlier on, I don't want people to conflate the word riot. I want to scream is what I should say. I want to cause like a bit of like verbal scene. Oh, what the backside? I want to do all of that, but really and truly, I know the rules. I used to do athletics myself. I know it's your head and torso that goes over the line, not your feet. Because if you've got long legs, you can get your foot over the line by pushing that forward, but your legs are carrying the body. The body is what is supposed to hit the line first. So it is what it is. Well done to Lyles. Well done to Thompson. And also well done to Fred Curley as well, who got 9.81, which is a very, very close third place. But Jamaica, we couldn't do it this time round. We couldn't do it in the hundreds. For the men, we couldn't do it for the women. We're just going to have to claim St. Lucia if they'll let us. Sarah. Yo, this Olympics is something that I've not, again, been watching as heavy. Only the ones that I really wanted to watch to support either the people that I am familiar with or the people that my family know. That's why I wanted to watch. But one thing I don't like about this Olympics, I'm sure many of us do, is Paris's approach to doing the Olympics has been slack. I'm saying that right now on record. It's been slack. Paris, you lot need to fix up with your approach to the Olympics, with your approach to anything. The reason I say this, let's look at it from the rip. Firstly, the opening ceremony was just dire. It weren't even good. It was blasphemous, right? They reenacted the Last Supper, and then they were saying the excuse that we did that was, it wasn't about the Last Supper, it was about reenacting pagan gods. But there were so many symbolisms that you could see in Leonardo da Vinci's depiction of the Last Supper, which was just obviously there. And the thing is, I am not somebody who will sit here and say you're not allowed to express your art. I can believe that art is blasphemous, especially with my own beliefs and my own faith. So I'm going to look at something and say it's blasphemous and God is not to be mocked. However, I know that not everyone has the same beliefs as me. So that's fine. You do what you got to do. Even if I think it's wrong, it's your prerogative to do it. But if you're going to do something, at least make it that it actually is quality. It was pants. It was trash. There was nothing to it. Like, no one's been able to show me why this was a great opening ceremony, especially that portrait bit. One of the bits that I did like in the opening ceremony was the guy that was having a torch and doing all the backflips and stuff. That stuff was cool. But that kind of portrait of everybody at the table, I didn't care about who was depicting who in terms of, like, because it was I think it was to celebrate drag queens or drag artists. Okay, but it didn't make sense coming together. Not to do with the people that are doing it, but just when you looked at it, it was like, what are you trying to do? Like, no one could get it. It got so much backlash that so many people complained that they removed it from any of their online footage. So you can't even watch it back. They know how much backlash they caused. But you know what? When I look at the whole runnings of how this Olympics has gone, it's been a shambles across the board. Next thing I would say is a shambles, the whole Sha'Carri and Shelly Ann not being able to get in to the same entrance that they were supposed to be able to get in from before. They say the rules are rules, but the rules had changed midway through during the finals of their be able to run. Another shambles that had happened in Paris. South Sudan NBA team were playing against the USA's NBA team. Not many people know this, but this happened. South Sudan were playing, and it was their debut of their team playing at the Olympics. When it came to performing their national anthem or standing for their national anthem, whoever was in charge of the audio system and the PA system, yo, wagwan, you lot are madded. They played the music to not South Sudan, but to Sudan, their national anthem. Mad disrespectful, because anyone who knows of the conflicts that they have in Sudan and South Sudan knows that they are effectively two divided states or countries, you could say, depending on who you ask. They have their own national anthem. You played the opponents, their opposition in terms of like land and territory ownership. You played their opposing national anthem, and they had to stand there and affirm that. There was one brother in the crowd who had his flag up just before the national anthem was to go on. And then when they played it, he was like, what the and they blanked it out from then. But then he had to pull down his flag because you're playing the wrong national anthem. Yo, you lot and your organization is terrible. Paris ain't cared a damn for anybody at that Olympics, man. Yo, fix it up, man. Fix it up. Anyways, coming towards the end, man, I ain't watching too much of it now. I might watch a 200 in relays, and that's the end of that. But I ain't watching nothing else, man, because it ain't really worth the time. Boo! Anyway, moving on. Do you know what? I'm so proud of myself. I'm not editing anything out of this podcast. I'm leaving it all in because I'm so happy with this episode so far in terms of like the rant about the riot stuff earlier on, in terms of addressing the Olympic stuff, and just to recap him. But it gets tiring just talking to the camera for myself. So I'm going to get to the playback, which is what I'm going to suggest for you guys to go and watch yourself. On my playback this week, ladies and gentlemen, please do yourself a favor and go and watch Ali Siddiq. Fantastic comedian from Texas. Ali Siddiq has 4 specials that play 4 parts of one huge long story, but one of the best stories I've ever heard in comedy, and those are called the Domino Effect. Ali Siddiq has been a comedian for years, but his stories and storytelling style is second to none. It's not to be messed with. You cannot match it. As a comedian myself, I love to hear how other people craft their jokes, but no one I've known has been able to craft a joke as superbly as how he has done. Superbly. Shouts to him. I suggest you guys go and watch that. I'm currently rewatching number 3, and I'm going to watch number 4 straight afterwards. But the Domino Effect, number 1, is hilarious. His story, it establishes his ability to do storytelling. Then you watch Domino Effect number 2, and I tell you the emotions that come out from number 2, and just a sense of authenticity in his stories, huge. Then you got number 3. Number 3 is funny. It's hilarious. I don't want to give away too much, but they're all set in stages of his life. Then you got number 4, which when you watch is a nice rounded way off to kind of close those chapters. Ali Siddiq, follow him on YouTube. Watch all the clips on his channel. He is such a great storyteller, and he's got such swagger. Like, my girl described it as, yo, watching him is like listening to the uncles at the cookout. Like, listening to him talk is like hearing the uncles at the cookout that she grew up listening to and watching. And I don't blame her, because I've not been to the cookouts in America as a child, but I've been to the ones in my own family, UK, Caribbean family cookouts. And there's always that uncle that could tell you stories in a funny way. He's that guy. Do yourself a favor, go and listen to him. It's phenomenal. Do yourself that favor right now. Anyway, I'm taking this off because, yo, I need some new headphones. These ones hurt after a while. Anyway, I've got to wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. Where I'm going to be over the next few weeks. Where am I going? Oh, yo, I'm going to try and take Respectfully Podcast with me when I go abroad. I'm going abroad for a couple of weeks to do laps around Europe for work. But also I'm going to take my setup here abroad with me, and I'm going to do some, hopefully, on land and at sea. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it goes really, really well. I'll try my absolute best. But right now, I'm not going to really promote other than I'm going to be in Brighton this Friday. So if you're based in Brighton, UK, come down, check me out. Around Europe, I'm going to be touring the Aurator tour in Europe all through September, the beginning of October. And then I'm going back on tour again for the next leg of my tour, for the UK legs, all through October, November, and parts of December. For those dates, make sure you go to auriestyla.co.uk. Get your info, get your dates. They are there, all available. I'm going to try and get somebody on for the next episode that I can speak to directly rather than just me talking, because right now this is tiring me talking for myself. But I made a promise to myself I'm going to be as consistent as I can to keep stuff up. Again, shout out to Cracked, CRKD. Make sure you go check them out on all social media platforms that you can find them on, and also go to their website, crkd.gg. Get yourself a Nitro Deck if you or someone in your family has a Nintendo Switch. It's an absolute game changer. This is like my 3rd one, not because they break, but because I like them in different colors. I've got the purple one. I gave that to Trudge, actually. And I've also got I got a black. No, this is my 3rd one. The 4th one. Purple one I gave to Trudge. Black one I bought for myself separately. I've also got another black one of the Plus version so I can dock my Switch, and I got the white version of that as well right here. If I'm feeling nice, I might give this away. But if I'm not, I'm feeling selfish, I might keep it for myself. You'll find out over the next week, 2, or never, if you never hear me talk about this one again, because I would have kept it for myself. Anyway, this is Aurie Styla signing out of the Respectfully Podcast. I hope you had a great listen. Please approach this week with love. It's been a difficult one for everybody around the UK, around the world, looking at images anywhere where there's been conflict, where there's been diversity segregation, I would say, where people are just looking at you being something different from them and wanted to keep you away from them. It's horrible to see. So let's do what we can to continue to be great and happy and loving of one another, rather than be as divisive as the small percentage of people who are trying to separate us, be it media, be it those who have their own agenda, or be it the toothless jackholes that want to tell you that they don't like the fact that immigration has come here because a job's being taken, where actually, really and truly, you weren't qualified. Ain't it mad that you're upset that you're in the door and someone's coming here to work? Like, stop attacking those people. Respectfully Podcast, Aurie Styla signing out. Please be safe, and I'll catch you guys next week. Peace. Respectfully.